Welcome back to this channel. In this episode, we continue from where we stopped last time. We had climbed the mighty Mulanje mountain in the night and didn't have a chance to see much beauty of the place we had traversed. We had spent 2 days on the mountain, and the events in this episode took place on the third day, where we started our trek back to the foot of the mountain. So sit back and enjoy the video. We began the descent at 8:30 a.m. and the sun was already very high. After walking for a good 4.5 kilometers, we reached the edge of the mountain and began the steep descent. Of course, we had to take some photos before the terrain got any tougher. We just can't tell what will happen next. Immediately after we started the descent, we reached a section which got damaged massively by the Cyclone Freddy disaster that hit the country back in 2023. As a result of the disaster, massive amounts of rocks and earth got loose and were washed down the mountain to the villages below, destroying everything in its path. 2 years later, we could still experience the aftermath of the disaster, and we could see the trail of the disaster from where it started and to where it finished. The gradient on this section was so unforgiving, as it was so steep in some sections with grades of almost 45 degrees. We had to walk cautiously or risk slipping off and breaking a bone or worse. Great thing about hiking as a sport is that you always take your time, nice and easy, one step at a time. No sense in rushing things.
Four wheels. Four-wheel drive.
If you are new to hiking, you may think going down is easy. But a big no. Going down is just as hard, as it comes with its own set of challenges. You need to control your descent, and mostly the calf muscles are at work together with the thighs. You can feel these muscles burn as you are going down. As for me, I ended up losing a fingernail on one of the toes as a result of the descent. My foot was sliding inside the shoe, leading to excessive pressure on the toe, and the fingernail died. I am told by the regular hikers that this is a normal occurrence. The solution is to wear a shoe that is slightly bigger than your normal size. Lucky enough, the fingernail has since grown back. Walking down on this section, we could remember how it was like climbing up. Some of us had to use both hands and feet to climb up, as it got too steep in some sections. If you looked up, you could only see the lights of the porters high up in the mountains. And if you looked down, you could see some lights down below from the slow hikers coming up. Such was the experience in the night, and it was a great experience knowing we had the mountain to ourselves. There aren't any dangerous animals that I am aware of. So we felt safe. The views walking down the mountain are quite spectacular. Every so often we had to stop to take some photos. That is true for me. I just couldn't resist the opportunity, more especially knowing that I may not come back to this place anytime soon. It is sad to see the amount of damage that the people have done to the mountain by cutting down trees. The few trees that we found are generally small shrubs and not any big tree that you would expect at a place like this. Even the Mulanje cedar, the tree that only grows on this mountain and nowhere else, is almost extinct. The tree poachers have been wantonly cutting down anything in their path. Navigating through the mountain requires some familiarity. The trails are not properly marked and are not clearly visible at a glance. If anyone intends to attempt this hike, I would strongly recommend that they recruit the services of local guides who are readily available at a reasonable fee. A few days before attempting this hike, I watched the movie Gabriel and the Mountain. It's a real-life story about a tourist that got lost in this mountain and lost his life. I could relate with what he must have gone through alone in the cold. May his soul rest in peace. Watching the movie got me a bit scared about the challenge I was going to partake, but also gave me hints on how to prepare better. Good shoes and warm clothes are a must if you are going on this mountain. The weather can change at a moment's notice and you don't need to be caught off guard. As we were reaching the bare rock section of the trail where the cyclone swept off everything, only leaving the rock that is on the very bottom, I must say I got really scared. I had been dreading in my head the whole time I was on the top on how best I should tackle this section. With all the fear and thought that were lingering in my head, I slipped. The situation was so bad that I got caught you in my own shoes grabbing into each other. I was fortunate this occurred before the slippery rock slope. If I had slipped there, the story would have been different. The fear alone must have caused me to slip. But the question I asked myself was, how did I cross this same place in the midst of the night without an incident? I suppose the darkness hid from us the fearsome sections which could have gotten on our nerves easily had we climbed during the day. Looking at the trail of disaster the cyclone Freddy brought, we could actually tell that the floods that swept the villages below the mountain started from this section. All the mudslides started from this point going downwards. This means all the loose rocks that were on top together with any mud got swept away to the bottom, wiping away everything in its path. Having slept a few moments before the slippery section, I did not want to take any chances. When I reached the most slippery place, I walked with my bum on the ground. That's the only surest way that I could have the maximum grip to hold on to the ground, or else I would find myself flying away to the bottom of the mountain below. Everyone was being very cautious here. The place is tricky. I wonder what the experience would be like if it had rained a little. On this day it was bone dry, yet still slippery. My good friend Mike, who was right behind me, came up with his own strategy to tackle this slope. Fortunately, he had a walking stick and that also helped somehow. When it comes to hiking, rocky surfaces like this are not kind to your gear. This is where most wear and tear occurs to your shoes, trousers, and the like. When going to Sapitua, there are many such rocky places which you have to tackle for hours at a time. By the time you finish the sections, you will find a good part of your shoes and clothes to be completely worn out. Having reached this far, the only place I was dreading was a section near the vandalized watchtower. The terrain just drops off like into an abyss. The time we were climbing, I took the lead and started to wonder why it felt like the gradient was getting steeper and steeper with every footstep, almost turning into a 50% grade. I had to stop and let the guide take the lead as I was questioning myself if I was heading in the right direction. Going down, I was wondering what it would be like climbing down. Most likely I would have to use my bums for support. Some years back, a non-governmental organization took an initiative to help in the conservation of the forest. They built this watchtower where guards were stationed permanently to look after the trees they had planted. This was aimed at restoring the tree cover which has been massively degraded. I am not sure what happened, but from the look of things, it appears funds dried up and the project was abandoned. The watchtower has since been vandalized and the trees have been mercilessly deforested. The stories we heard from the natives was that, back in the days when the forest was thick, this area used to have a very big python snake which was roaming around this same area. It used to chase hikers and anyone that was loitering around this place. However, due to the deforestation, the snake has since disappeared, probably starved to death as there aren't many animals around anymore. The deforestation on this part of the mountain is particularly worrying. Trees are being cut down on an industrial scale. Any tree that is available is at risk of being chopped off at any time. My plea is to the government to take deliberate steps to protect the trees on this mountain, as very soon every tree will be gone. Communities around the mountain also need to be responsible to take care of the mountain, as most likely the people involved in the deforestation are the ones that they know. I am well aware poverty is also a leading cause to the deforestation, so if some non-state actors take a step to come up with some initiatives to help people generate their own income, probably that could reduce the need to cut down trees as an alternative source of income. Of particular concern is the Mulanje cedar, a tree that is at risk of going extinct.
That's less than 100 meters from our starting point. This hike is about to come to an end. Cold water. Lie down on the floor. Stretch my legs. Have a juice. That's it.
At exactly 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we arrived at Fort Lister, our starting point. We found all our vehicles safe after we had left them at the village headman's house for safekeeping. Needless to say, we supported the local community generously with what we could afford. All in all, it was a great weekend outing and a great way to introduce myself to hiking as a hobby. At the time I was reaching the bottom, I was like, man, I will never do this again ever. But a few weeks have since passed, and going through the videos as I'm editing them, I am like, we need to do this again. So don't be surprised if you see me dropping another video from the top of another mountain. I hope you enjoyed watching our adventure from the top of Mulanje mountain and back to the bottom. Remember to like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.